Long
What is
time no see.
good?
Yeah.
I am just kind of going through videos and stuff today. I'm also gonna play 2 other videos on men's least favorite topic, which is emotions. So I hope you guys are geared up to sit here and talk to me about it.
Let's talk about emotions.
This is a good attitude. I like this. Good stuff. Let's see. I just want to make sure before I continue. I dismiss emotions and my life has been significantly more pleasant. I don't confuse being numb with being like emotionally intelligent. Just want to say that. Not assuming, just saying. If I'm wrong, you can check me later. Um, Great Pill, you're back, bro. Where did you go? See, your router's in China, my brother. It's not loading. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, there you are. Great Pill. Hello. Can't hear me. Testing, testing. Audio check. Hello, hello.
Yeah, I don't think he hears you.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. Well, he'll come back. Everyone, somebody knows. Dalton knows you, Flo. Sup, Flo?
What's up, Dalton?
Okay.
So,
All the guys always show up on time, and all the girls.
uh-huh.
All the girls makes me so sad.
Do
Man.
we want to go right into the topic of the title of the stream, or you got videos?
Let me pull up the video. We can discuss it after I pull the video. I just want to make sure Great Pill gets on. All right. Well, we're gonna find this video. Where is it? Okay. So I was talking about how I find videos often, and a lot of these videos are always specifically geared towards talking about one gender. Sometimes it fits. Sometimes I think like when I listen to these, the one I'm going to pull up. Let me know if you guys feel like this is exclusive only to women, or is it women and men, and then we can kind of go around the rosier after that. So hopefully, Great Pill, I hope you can see this because the show got to get going. It's 9:35, big boy. All right. How do we do this? There we go.
Hey, why do I need to ask my wife 10 times what's wrong before she'll finally tell me? My guess would be safety and trust. Safety in what now? Well, she doesn't trust that you're a safe place for her to share. Yeah, but why? Well, it could be a number of different things, maybe even going all the way back to her childhood. But let's rule out a few obvious ones. Where'd you get a clipboard? You don't even live here. Do you have a habit of invalidating her feelings or experience? I don't even know what are those words? Okay, we'll just put maybe for that one. Okay. Number 2, do you ever dismiss her as too emotional, too sensitive, or making a big deal about nothing? Only if she's being irrational. Okay, check. And we can probably change that, maybe. Our check's good. Number 3, if she has the courage to share something in a respectful and vulnerable way, do you immediately get defensive, shut down, or feel unfairly attacked? Okay, I see. Everything is my fault. No, it's not about fault. I mean, you asked me why she's hesitant to share. I'm simply telling you what might be influencing that. Oh, so she's allowed to blame me for all of her feelings. No, of course she still plays a role in bringing up her feelings in a healthy way without criticism or passive aggressiveness and taking responsibility for them. Thank you. The question is, do you understand how your words and actions could negatively affect your partner? And if she brings it up in a vulnerable way, can you receive it with respect and validation? Okay, so once again, she's right and I'm wrong. No, this isn't about right and wrong. This is about honoring and valuing someone that we love enough to encourage them to be honest about what's going on inside of them. Oh, it's also about healing our own wounds, because so often I would hear my partner say that I'm a bad partner when really all she said was, can you love me in a different way? And what we don't realize is that we unintentionally discourage them from sharing when we get defensive, or we default to dismissing them or counterblaming or escalating this into a fight. That makes sense. Those things break trust and create an environment where someone doesn't feel safe to share. It essentially punishes their vulnerability and pushes them away. So how could I be more validating? Yeah, so we can lead with curiosity first and try to understand their perspective or feelings before trying to share our side. Okay, we can genuinely say things like, your perspective matters to me, your feelings are valid even if I don't fully understand them. It makes sense why you would feel that way. Yeah, but what if it doesn't make sense why she feels that way? Well, first, it's important to remember that you're not the judge of whether someone's allowed to feel something or not. And I'm not saying we should act on all of our feelings, but all feelings are real. And you're saying all this builds safety and trust. It's certainly a great start. Okay. Hey, how'd you get so smart? Oh, years of failure.
I don't know about you guys, but I actually really enjoyed that video.
He was telling some truth. He was telling some truth.
I feel that last part. That years of failure.
I thought it was stressful to watch.
What? Okay, so
kind of...
I thought it was like pretty accurate. I think it simplified a lot of complex situations into like a bullet point, in my opinion. So when you guys hear the word feelings, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear feelings? Let's start with the last person that came in, Damien, Riddell, and then Flow State.
Feelings. Wow, that's a very vague question. What are feelings?
Well, the reason why I say that is because when people hear feelings, you either think like it's important, do you think it's negative? Like, what comes to your mind the minute you hear like, okay, you need to address feelings, you need to acknowledge feelings?
Yeah, I don't think they're negative or positive, whatever. I think they just are, and that it's how you let them color your way of thinking or the way you move is the outcome of those feelings is what could be negative or positive. If you feel mad, if you find some way to be introspective and think about it and kind of work your way through it, it's fine. If you feel mad and you punch somebody in the face, it's negative. So it all depends on what you do with those feelings that determine the ultimate. The feelings are just, they're there. Like you said, they're true, they're real, but you determine how you react to those feelings. And I just want to go back one thing. It's funny because it almost sounded like years and years ago, my wife, we when we were having a tough time, went to therapy, and it's almost verbatim what I remember the person that we talked about, that what we were talking about. It was like, but their thing was the two words the three words were perspective, safe, and voice. Like for example, my wife wanted to make sure I want to make sure my wife always has a voice in decisions and stuff like that. She feels heard. She doesn't feel like walked all over, what have you. And that creates a space of safety where she can express her emotions without feel of like being put down or what have you. And the word for me was safe. I want to make sure, because historically it's not been a safe place for men to just express their feelings, because there's been all kinds of scrutiny attached on it, and also expectations on how men are supposed to deal with their feelings.
I'll actually get back to that point after everybody makes their statement.
Okay, sorry.
No. I just want to highlight that because I like what you just said there. Riddell, your thoughts on when you hear the word feelings?
So basically, my personal understanding in terms of feelings and emotions, I kind of coincided with it as instincts personally. It's something that is reactionary based off some external stimulus that makes you act a particular way, oftentimes without logic. Like Damien said earlier, it's on you how you react to the feelings once they happen, for the most part. But that's the key part. Being able to understand the emotions, being able to understand the feelings, being able to understand how to react to these things are very pivotal, not only for you as an individual to move across society in general, but especially when it comes to understanding not only yourself, but your partners, so you can have a healthy relationship. And it obviously goes beyond relationships, like a romantic one. But these are important things to understand. That way you don't find yourself in situations beyond your control. So yeah, it's very important to really understand this stuff, basically.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Flow State, your thoughts and opinions.
When I hear the word feelings, I'm not gonna lie, I just got kind of a negative connotation to it, not because I think that feelings are bad, but because whenever the word is invoked, you don't have to talk about good feelings, right? You only have to talk about the annoying ones or the bad ones, or when you have to manage them. So I think that I agree that they're instinctual. I don't agree that all feelings are real or valid. I think that your feelings can be mistaken, and then if more information comes into the picture, your feelings should change with it. I don't think all feelings are valid. I think that some feelings are invalid and should be dismissed by yourself if they're yours, or
Well, can you expand on that when you say that you should ignore some feelings? Like I think in the video they said like feelings are real. So what do you take from that when you hear that?
So they're real in the sense that like you really experience them, but they're not always real in the fact that they're valid. Sometimes you misinterpret a situation, for instance. Like
True.
like if like you know, your girl gets mad at you because you did something in her dream the night before, right? She might really be feeling something because she's still remembering her dream, but her feeling about it is not valid still. Like, you know.
Okay. You also highlighted on we only talk about the bad, never the good feelings. Do you think that's something that could be changed? Because I find that one of the biggest issues I see in relationships is like we appreciate the good things, but we never verbalize. We never say, "Hey, I really appreciate for taking the trash out. Hey, I really appreciate this dinner, even if it's been 10 years or it's your new dish, or hey, this tastes a little different. Did you buy different bread? Is this like sourdough?" I think that sometimes we think this in our head and we don't say it. And in return, we always hear the negative shit. It was like, "Hey, I hate the fact that your underwear is always on the floor. Hey, I hate the fact that your hair is all over the house. I hate that your bobby pins are everywhere." I think that we only hear the negative. And do you think that's something that could be changed, or do you think that's just like always going to be that way? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's okay that way, because I think that good feelings are something you experience, not something you deliberate about. And
Really?
yeah, I mean, there's nothing to analyze there and talk about. I think that logic is a problem solving tool, and there's not problems to solve when things are going well.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a problem solver. Do you think it's like a verbal appreciation? Like you should show
I
someone.
mean, I think more appreciation would be good. I do. But I think it starts internal. I mean, like, so yes, I think that verbalizing things that we appreciate is good, and people could definitely do it more. But there's not a lot to talk about after that, right? Like,
Well, not
this
everything is
sourdough
about.
bread is. What do you say
Yeah.
after this? After you say this bread is good, that's the end of the conversation, right?
So
Like,
okay, fine. In that specific situation, if my husband says, "Hey, sourdough's really like this is different," I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I tried something new today." He's like, "Really? Why?" Because I think that may sound stupid to somebody if they're deprived of a conversation, maybe annoyed, they don't want to contribute to it. But for my relationship, for example, we give a shit about each other. So if he tells me about his numbers in his days, I don't understand exact, but I'm gonna listen to like, okay, like why
sure.
did Samantha do that? Why? Because we have to give a shit about each other. And I think that expanding on sourdough may sound stupid to someone who's like deprived from sex or emotions or appreciation. Yeah, it sounds stupid when you don't feel like you're already getting it. Why should I give and I'm already not getting? But if we start the rotation of giving so that we can receive, then I think that's the beginning of things. So expanding on like saying, I like this. Oh, really? Wow, I
So I guess
tried it.
my response was not necessarily. It was more conceptual about logic, feelings, and language, and the tools, right? Every lively debate anybody's had here was never about how much we like something or how great something is, right? So, in a relationship, yes, I think that you're giving better thoughts than I am, but on the whole, I do think that logic is a problem solving tool broadly.
Can I step in?
And
Yeah, feel free to. Go ahead.
So, from my personal understanding, right? So, the reason why people tend to voice their concerns when something negative happens is because they want immediate correction to put you back on the status quo, on the path of either normalcy or succeeding on whatever you're doing, right? So they want immediate results or immediate solutions to the results. And obviously, if you're not having those issues, there's no immediate need to voice those concerns. But with that said, that's why it's so important to voice things that you enjoy, so people can get reinforced the idea that these actions that's making you feel good are things that you want to continue to happen. Right. So I do think it's natural for humans to just go say the negative things because, they want the good things to happen. But they do need to understand, if you want the good things that you really like to continue to happen, you're going to have to speak up and say anything, because we all realize that people are not mind readers, regardless.
Yeah, 100%.
And I want to address something that you said, Full State, earlier, like you were saying about the invalid feelings. We were saying, you brought up the example of like your girlfriend has a dream that you cheated on her and she's all set the next day. Mm-hmm. That's coming from a real place inside of her. So there's something that hasn't been addressed. So there's a real feeling behind that you have to address. Like, does she feel insecure about your relationship? Has something happened? Has something happened in the past that Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
because I've had dreams about some just weird shit that had nothing.
Yeah,
to
the
do with
dream
anything.
stuff can get very touchy.
No, well, I'm saying if she's upset about it the next day, it's touching on a feeling that she actually has. Like I've had dreams, all kinds of dreams, you know, and it didn't get me upset the next day.
I meant like 5 minutes after you wake up.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, but you have to wonder if that's coming from an actual place inside her that needs to be addressed. Is there insecurity there that dream is just kind of like feed it into?
Yeah, I'm a woman. I've woke up I woke up to some angry ass dreams. I didn't react on it. I actually laughed about it with them. I was like, oh, what the fuck was this? And we'd laugh about it because I don't have that like poking at me. Like maybe this is actually going to happen. So I think maybe it's my own anecdotal experience, but I don't think that if a woman has a dream and she wakes up and she's just randomly angry, that just came because she had a bad dream. Like I think that's deriving from an insecurity that's probably like she's ignoring in the relationship and it's manifesting and getting bigger.
Now, hypothetically, if you woke up mad at your boyfriend and then he wanted to go to work solving it then and talking about it, what the underlying issue is, wouldn't that create bigger issues? Because like you probably don't know what it is, or
whether that's the lack of discernment in the relationship, because you should kind of know when something's off in the relationship to begin with.
And most times women don't want the resolution. They want the empathy that comes along with the conversation. Yeah, it's not necessarily they want you to be like, let's dive deep and figure out why you have insecurity. They don't be like, baby, I understand how this could be. They want the empathy before the resolution, because that means you hear them. That goes back to what I said. Women want to feel like they're heard in their, in relationships.
Do you think that it's just exclusive to women, or do you think men would also feel the same way, like to be heard? Like if I just
men are always, or we're always heard. That's our thing. It's like the two things is like that men are always focused on getting heard, and we vocalize the fact that we want to be heard lot more than a lot of women want to feel like they want to be heard.
It depends on the relationship, to be fair. I would say probably majority traditional relationships, yes, but not all relationships where men are in are going to be heard, of course.
Yeah, but they want to be heard, and they try to express it somehow. They try to express the desire to be heard.
Wait, men or women?
Men express it. That's what what men don't express is the desire to be safe. We express the desire to be heard. We don't express the desire to be safe. And I think it's in women to express the desire to be heard, but not. I mean, women are usually want to be heard because it's everything that the men we focus on is keeping them safe. It's like, wait, you'll provide the physical protection, you'll buy the things, you'll buy the big house with the security gate, you'll put the dog in front, you'll buy a gun, all this stuff to keep us safe, but you're not hearing what we're saying. We're not getting the empathy out of when we're speaking to you. That's what I think a lot of people's emotions can get ignored.
I think I'm going to tap into that before I leave, because I knew you had a point to make. So I'll hold on to that 1 second before I lose this. So you're saying that women need the empathy, men just have to assert their thoughts, is what you're saying. But do you think that that's something that we continuously highlight as if we're so different, that I think both humans, men and women, should also be heard with empathy and logic followed through? Because if we have a kid, I want my kid to understand both. I don't want my kid just to be completely like a robot and just do everything like just black and white, no emotions, because the job is done. I don't care if I fucked up the whole house, but the job is done. You should be happy, Dad. Like things like that. You should care about how you do things, not just getting the job done. So when we highlight that women only want empathy, I think that's something that's been socially constructed, because it's like, okay, I have to be the quote unquote nurturing one from historically. So I'm going to have to be aware of my emotions, and I'm going to need that fuel for the kids, for them to cook dinner, to deal with you. For a man, historically, you just had to go to work. I'm not saying as if that was like such a simple job. We all had like different jobs and different roles. So I think this day and age, if we kind of expanded that for men and women to give a shit about each other's emotions, like earlier you said that there's an expectation from men. What was it you said? The expectation for men was I forgot. I don't remember anymore.
Was it to fix things, to come with a solution, or to just fix the problem, as opposed to understand the emotion behind the problem?
Yeah, that contributes to, like, again, the mental health crisis, because there's so much pressure that you have to fix the issue, be the man of the household, and just be okay with just taking the L while giving her empathy that you don't have even for yourself. Do you think that's a huge pressure on men, that we should both learn how to give that to each other so we're both happy?
100%. I think that's you just nailed you said a lot there. That's exactly what needs to change.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I was able to deliver that before my brain went to shit. Neve, you had something to say, and then we'll go to Flow State.
Yeah.
Flow State's cooking something in his head right now, but we'll get to that.
Okay, I just wanted to address something Flow State said earlier about like the iffiness about dreams. I just wanted to see if anyone's related to this, and it might be a little morbid. But have you never had a dream where somebody dies in your dream and you wake up sad? Has that never happened to you?
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add some like robustness to that idea.
Are you saying that it's
trivial at the
not
beginning.
always, or I mean, were you? What's? I guess I don't understand the point.
Sorry.
Is that there's not always an underlying concern there?
No, I'm saying like you identified that if a woman woke up and was like upset because of a dream, that there is like a degree of validity to it. Like she's just gonna feel the way she feels, right? And I didn't think you were like blatantly disregarding it, but I thought you like were, you know, like when you were questioning the idea, I just didn't think you could like conceptualize that maybe.
Right. No, yeah. No, and I've had dreams that where I wake up still in a mood for a minute. I guess I don't think that there have any validity for me or for really anyone else, right? Like if it's a recurring dream, if it's something that's clearly tied to a real life issue, then there's a real life issue that needs to be addressed. But the dream emotion in and of itself, all else equal, I don't think is valid. It was a dream.
Can I try to bridge the understanding? Let me know if I'm wrong, Flo, of course. But I think a better way to kind of word it is that the feelings themselves are not invalid because, like you agreed with me, they're instinctual, so they are what they are. Right. But the purpose of the feeling can be invalid. Like the reasoning behind why you felt the way you felt could be an invalid purpose. So the reason why that distinction is important is because you can discuss the purpose and immediately debunk it and say, okay, you're acting ridiculous. But if you go like, okay, you're not really sad, it's like, but I am sad.
Okay.
Then that wouldn't make sense.
I agree 100% with what you're saying. Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
It wasn't that important, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, just thinking on it right now.
Yeah. But it can help people understand that. Some people think feelings are invalid.
If you can remember the dream, it's because it touched on an emotion. You dream every night, but you just don't remember it. If you remember it, that means it touched on some emotion. Whether or not you can easily deal with that emotion and go on with your day, or it's going to be screwing with you the whole day, is up for depends on the person.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. I have another. I think that was really good. Such a civil panel. If you guys don't know, I gave the whole spiel. I gave the spiel in the beginning. This is not debate bro mode on my channel, just because I don't like those types of atmosphere. So if anybody in the chat or anybody here is looking for that, I won't get offended if you exit now, because it's pretty vanilla in this bitch. And
wait, you didn't like that crazy debate we had on Dub's channel?
See, that's a dude's channel. That's his territory. It comes with the territory. But you know, I can't be hosting stuff like that, you know. And I don't talk about sports. Sports shit gets heated and the feelings are compartmentalized. I get it. But here it's disrespectful when his hands are being thrown for no reason. So, I didn't have to be that way here.
Very fair.
Thank you.
We're all in touch with our feelings, I think.
I think it's a great thing. So overall, did we disagree with the video? Did we like the video? Did we hate the video? What did you guys think with the video?
I disagree with the video. I think that the dude in the therapist role is gaslighting the dude who's the husband role. Yeah, entirely.
Can you say how? Like, wait, before we get to that, Damien, you're smiling. Verdell, everyone give me your opinion on the video, because I actually thought the video was just like crazy. That you just
because basically the therapist is saying that everything she feels is valid and you need to treat it as such. Okay, well, that's just not true. Maybe she's feeling some sort of way for no reason, or for a dream, or for because she misunderstood a situation. You know, you texted and she misinterpreted the tone. There's all sorts of reasons why somebody could have a feeling that's real, but not be there for a valid reason, like you said.
I like the message behind the video. I just think the way that it was delivered was like a propaganda piece, like paid for by women, just because the language I think was so loaded in buzzwords that are typically distributed amongst like women. I feel like that resonated with me so quickly. And then I felt like men would probably just tune it out.
But I think that's the issue. So my
Yeah,
biggest
which is
issue with that-
ironic, even more ironic. Yeah.
My issue with that is like, okay, if I have to sit here and understand man language, then men should understand women language, because we sit here and ostracize one or the other, then we're never going to coexist with each other. If we sit here and say that's just women, well, it's supposed to appeal to women.
Understand it doesn't mean agree with it, though.
Wait, why? If I understand, like, I'm in a relationship with you, I have to understand you, and I have to agree because we have to get along with each other.
You don't have to agree.
No, but I can still be wrong. You know, you don't have to agree with everything I do or say.
Okay, no, okay, maybe we're missing each other. Maybe I'm disagreeing at this point. Okay, if you listen to what I'm saying in the video, say the guy in one point where he's saying her feelings are valid, you may not agree why her feelings are valid, but that derives from something. So something immediately that's happened in the relationship that's adding up. Eventually, if I'm reacting on it, to you, you think it's like, what, we were fine yesterday. No, I ignored the issue because I have to get through the day, you know, feed the kids, make your meal, go at my duties. But the shit's still going to come up. So to you, you may think it's not relevant, but it's still an underlying issue. So you can dismiss it. Wait, is somebody like having a dog or somebody watching or something? I hear something. Does anybody else hear? Or is it just me?
I heard.
I hear it. It's not.
Yeah, I heard a few things.
Is it me?
I just heard it again. A little Bart.
Yeah. I don't have a dog.
I'm gonna do this thing where I'm gonna mute mute one person at a time. We're gonna figure out if it slowly goes away. We're gonna mute one person at a time. Nope, it's not Flo. It might be the way Damien breathes. Maybe.
I'm like tripping that it's me now. I'm like, whoa, what if it's me?
Wait, the sound hasn't come up.
Oh, you're talking about the breathing. I heard that too. You might have high gain on your mic, bro. That might be it.
let me adjust my mic.
It was definitely Damien. Okay. All right. Well, now I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah, my mic volume was way up. Sorry about that.
We were talking about how not all emotions are valid.
Yeah, the video.
And no, I think what we were saying about you have to. We were saying that you understand. That means you agree, which I don't think. Yeah, that's not true at all.
I remember where we were in the example that you just gave. Things build up, right? So if the chick, if you blow up over the toilet seat being left up, but it's an accumulation of the past week.
Okay.
That's not a valid response to the toilet seat being up.
Wait, so if the toilet seat's been up and I've mentioned it softly, given hints like, hey babe, toilet seat, gotta go, gotta put it down.
Well, that wasn't really what I meant or what I was describing in the example. That's a different thing where it's like building up of the same issue and it has been addressed. But if it's like yesterday I tracked mud on the carpet, today I left the toilet seat up and the toilet seat is the breaking point, you should have addressed the things and not let them build to that point.
No, I agree that you should address them. I agree with that 1,000%. I don't think we should conflate all of it into one thing, but I think sometimes we don't take the time out to learn that, okay, if I bitch at you about every little thing and I don't give you a chance to make the mistake, then I'm always going to premeditate on when you're going to make this mistake and then become a cynic and then ruin the relationship. Like, I'm not trusting you. Because that's also another issue, right? No?
Right. Yeah, no, I think we're on the same page.
Okay, then we don't disagree then. Okay, cool.
All right.
I learned something from the skit, I guess.
No, I think the whole point is just to kind of like, everyone's going to listen. They may agree with you. They may agree with me. They may agree with Riddell. They may agree with Damien. It's just a discourse. Riddell, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I thought the video, the premise, I understand. I will say that, like, not every conversation you're going to have with your other person is going to be a therapy session, of course. Like, you're not going, every feeling that he or she has is not going through a whole line of questioning to try to understand it. It definitely needs to be a compromise from the both to, one, the guy make an attempt to understand the feelings, especially if they are, repeated more than once. And obviously for the woman, she also has to make a attempt to, hey man, not every single feeling I have needs to be met with a whole deep dive into my state of mind, right? So men definitely need to take that effort. So that's a big part of what the video is sounding like. But another point that we got to make sure we're understanding is it's a two-way street from both sides.
Good point. Good point. I also, what do you guys feel about gray pill? That's what men usually do. If his woman generally complains, he agrees with her. Is this what happens? Is this something we can change? Is this something that y'all think it's normal?
I don't know about that. I don't agree with that point.
That's not how my relationships work.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, you got to come harder than that. In my relationship, you can't just be like complaining about it. Complaining will probably get you less than if you sat down and had a reasonable conversation with me.
100%.
So where do you guys think the complaining comes from? Do you guys think this is something that happens on relationship? Is there something that we could highlight about why people choose to complain instead of having civil conversations?
So complaints are basically it's passive aggressive, right? And it's like setting expectations for people and like not necessarily having the energy to like communicate understanding from start to finish every single time. So I think complaining is generally like a substitute for that for some people. And I think a lot of times they do it without even really knowing.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
Okay. Anybody else wants to add to that?
Yeah, it's definitely a level of dissatisfaction and not being heard to a certain extent. So you kind of voice every single issue that you have to the point where it sounds like complaining. So, it's like someone said, it's definitely like a communication issue more often than not.
And I just want to say something. I'm absolutely in the red pill, and you guys know that. But it's just one of those things. But I think it's been a situation where men, it's just not a thing that men have been allowed to do historically. I mean, the ones who do it, they face all kinds of scrutiny, and if they're complaining too much, men are, like you said, men are supposed to be stoic and kind of work their way through it. We're not supposed to sit there and complain. So that's not historically what we've been groomed or been raised to do. I think a lot of times, like with my daughter, if my daughter complains about something, there's a good chance, it depends on, within reason, I may give in to it. I'm like, all right, you don't want to do the dishes tonight because you had a lot of homework. Okay, fine, you can do it in the morning. It's just like, and I think it's, and I get that because for some reason I want to appease her and I don't, or maybe I just don't want to hear it. Like my boys, you can complain all day, it ain't happening. That's the thing. It's just like,
so what you're displaying is like a social conditioning. So what you do is
that's right.
So you love your daughter unconditionally, so you allow her to just not have to do the dishes, and you make your son do it. So then we talk about how men historically have been oppressed and said they can't talk about their issues, but who's creating that issue?
I'm fine. I don't think it's an issue.
It's an issue.
Society stigmatized men who really express their feelings, because that's why fine. And the only one we can realistically, unfortunately, express without being ostracized is usually anger. Like the ones that produce the physical, the ones that equate to physical activity, that we can express those. But you can a man can't cry because his wife said something that hurt him inside, but he can cry if he wins the NBA finals. Because there's a physical there's some kind of physicality attached to that, which is usually okay.
Damien, you're usually a crowd favorite, but I don't know what's going on tonight. Like this polo hat has you acting different. I don't know.
What you talking about?
He's not pandering. He's speaking his truth.
What are you saying?
Don't make him cry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to go out and play basketball and pretend it's that.
I'm confused. I don't know who this person is. I think he pulled a Uno card on us. It's like I don't know this version of you. I'm still trying to rationalize.
What are you talking about?
I will say this.
The same from last topic.
Okay. So you it sounds like you just like it was an extreme example. Like if I cried to my wife about something, she wouldn't allow it. What do you mean your wife wouldn't allow it?
No, a second. I'm not saying my wife when I said if I cried to my wife about something and we had a good cry, and then I went to my best friend that's a guy and said, "Oh my God, my wife said something that really hurt me," and I start crying, there'd be a different response than if my wife goes to her girlfriend and be like, "Oh my God, my husband and I got to something." Other men ostracize you and make you feel bad about expressing money. Yeah. I'm not talking about men on women.
No, because I'm trying. So my goal is to get down to the root of this, because we keep saying that men historically have to suppress their emotions. Flow State disagrees, and That's fair. We can get
I
to
think
that.
it's a good thing. No, I don't disagree that it exists. I disagree that it is a problem. I'm cool with it. I will oppress the shit out of all of you.
Jason, if I came close to
already.
You can't
if I
take
came
us
to
all.
you,
Don't crying to
You can't
me.
Take us all.
Exactly. Men don't have those spaces historically where they can go
But-
and express any emotion other than
Right.
anger.
Well,
Okay,
because
but
When it comes to other men, when it comes to
that's
their
a
friend
choice.
groups.
But that's a choice
Well,
that men choose to do. Is that
it's-
Well, that's the men. No, that's great. But it's like no, we're
it's reflective of
conditioned as
reality.
children. Yeah,
it's
conditioned like
reflective of reality because men, all throughout human history have had to suck up their feelers and deal with real shit when it goes down, not get
Yeah.
stuck in
but,
having
but,
their.
but I've
little
always
boys
said,
fall. It's like be a man,
Yes,
from
yes,
a
yes.
little young age.
But this is something like the goal to my question to this isn't to like fight or poke at you guys.
Yeah.
The goal is to get to the root of it and see if we can stop this, prevent this, or maybe see something we don't see. So when you say historically men have had to do this, one, I assume so far that this is a pressure that men are putting on themselves with each other. That's an issue. Another thing. Wait, 1 second before my low IQ forgets. Another issue is when we conflate like the environment that we were living in. So if we're living in a survival environment where you had to shut the fuck up and make sure you don't get blown up to pieces because you're getting drafted or something, and you don't have the luxury to complain about your luxuries, yeah, that's the mindset you adapt. But in this generation where we have the luxury to just type that we hate some bitch in the comment section, if we have the luxury to do that, why can't we say, hey, wife, when's the last time you gave me head? What's going on here? Did I do something? Should I buy flowers? Like, can we talk about this? Like little things like that we could talk. Like, who you're sleeping with this person. This person's pushed out a baby for you.
If somebody said they weren't getting head and they were crying about it, then I would feel for them.
It's so that's the thing. So you can talk about it. You just choose not to, and then you ostracize each other from it.
And I agree.
I was just kidding.
Wait, 1 second at a time, 1 person at a time. Riddell, and then Grey Pill, and then whoever next.
All right, so I agree with the fact that like in past generations, there's a certain standard for men to kind of hold in their emotions to an extent. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that they were, necessarily keeping the complaining under wraps. It was the powers to be they aren't able to complain to. So there are times where that complaining comes back to the household. So that is what I feel like can and tends to happen in some cases, of course. Whereas obviously when it comes to a woman, the powers to be would be her husband. So she's complaining right to him. So I think those are the biggest difference in my opinion. But in terms of current society doesn't really have those issues for the most part in American Western culture, at the very least, to the point where you can't talk to certain people about or complain to certain people. And also crying and complaining are two different things. But everybody complains about something, right? Me and my friend, my best friend, we complain about certain, like, we're talking about the jobs. We're talking how much times we complain about the housing market or gas prices going up. Or,
Sure.
Hey man, the freaking Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. We're complaining about that. My fantasy team lost. I'm complaining about that. We complain all the time, to be honest, especially nowadays.
There's no really emotional component to that. There's like, oh, that sucks. But then that your Cowboys lost. I don't know. I'm not a big sports fan.
So what he's saying is like, if you complain, after a while, for example, that's an emotion because somebody around you could be like, all right, this guy's always like nagging. He's always saying some shit. That's still an emotion being displayed, regardless of what you may feel.
Frustration. It's the
frustration.
same one. It's the same one for all of those examples, though.
Right, but you're still able to complain about
you can complain, but each one of those things is the same frustrated emotion. It's like mild frustration or irritation. It's not like sadness or confusion or like any of the sticky or negative emotions.
And you can complain about things they relate to. Like your boys can complain about your team losing because they have a team, and a lot of times you're in the same position where you both are like upset that your team losing. So you can complain about stuff that you guys are aligned with.
But okay, you're sticking.
So why can't we take that exact blueprint and apply it to the person you're sleeping with and is pushing out babies for you? Why can't we find what aligns with each other so that we can grow and like, hey, I don't like the way you made this bland ass chicken respectfully. How can I reword this?
You complain about plain chicken. crying over that?
You can, but it takes.
You're gonna eat some shitty ass food in a relationship and just tolerate that? I don't understand this great.
I'm saying, who's crying over that? Wasn't that the whole crying or just the complaining?
Emotions have a lot of things. There's more
correct.
complain, frustration, anger. I've had a shit day. I come home, I just want a nice fucking meal. Women get smacked around for stuff like that back in the day. The fact that he had to go work in the freaking oil rig and come home to some fucking like 3 peas and just maybe a bland band. I'm like, what the fuck? Smacked around.
Maybe she want to put him on a diet. Who knows?
Yeah, you can complain about that stuff.
Well, I also real quick, I do want to.
Let me just get this point out real quick. Let me get this point
I just want you to understand my point because you're sticking to the sports thing a little too much. It's more than the sports thing because people.
Hold on. I'm not up to sports thing. Let me get this point out. You'll see it had nothing to do with sports. All right. So what I'm saying is like, you can complain about other things that's more related to like a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship. But it takes some time, and you have to develop that. The man has to really feel like it's a safe space for him to do that. Will there be no judgment at the time and no potential future judgment? Because a lot of guys worry about, okay, I tell you something at the time, you might be empathetic and you might rub my back and tell me it's going to be okay. But what happens when we break off? You can tell my friend like, that weak motherfucker was out there crying about the blah, 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 whatever. You go to your girls and you complaining to them that you don't respect that he was crying about something, because there's that stigma that comes absolutely from men, but it can in most cases come from men, but can also come from the women that you're engaging with, because they have grown up in the same world that is the men.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, but my biggest issue with that is like, look, anyone that complains or cries is tagged as annoying or stupid or emotional. It's not exclusive to men. It's also to women. The difference is like women, we've accepted that men don't respect us. It is what it is. We have to follow suit with whatever men have to do. That's fine. With men, if you want to lead, you're going to have to accept. And I'm not saying that anybody has to, but historically, because you lead, you have to accept that. But I would have to say my biggest issue with that statement, I'm having a brain fucking fart today. I need drugs or something. Well, fuck. I was getting to a point with that. When you said, I don't know anymore. Fuck. I don't know. Someone else take over. Anybody?
All right. Can we get like? I'm sorry. Maybe because I came in a little bit, and I apologize. I had some issues. So, what was the point of the emotions? Is that what we're focusing on? The emotions of men?
Well, emotions are humans. Humans have emotions, but I want to see their opinions on what they feel when they hear emotions. We had some pretty good takes. Flo
kind of
didn't like it too much.
I mean, I would ask, do you agree that it sort of sounded like you would agree that when you dump your feels on somebody else, you're burdening them with your problem? Do you agree with that?
So okay. Oh, okay. No. Okay. If you have a personality of being a stoic person and you finally express yourself to somebody, if you're surrounded by somebody that's going to judge for that, that says a lot about the people you're surrounding yourself with. That's one. And then two, if you're explaining how you feel, expressing it, whether it's frustration, sadness, or anger, and you don't have a solution to it, and you're explaining it to somebody who doesn't know what to do, they're going to look at you like, okay, I feel bad, but like, I don't like when a woman cries in front of a man, he doesn't know what to do. He starts like looking like, do I rub your back? Do I say it's okay? Do I give you food? It's not that you hate that she's crying. You don't know what to do. So I think that when we express to people our issues, like maybe in my relationship, I'm more so like, if I'm going to tell you I have an issue, it's already been solved. So, but I need you to know why I was acting funky last week, so you don't think I'm cheating on you or something, or you don't think I was acting funky or something. I think that we can express ourselves, because it'll kind of piece out the puzzles and the gaps in our daily lives. But when people think that if I just ignore it, it's like an elephant hiding behind a pole. It's quite evident that you had a rough week last week. We can say, hey, I couldn't figure it out. I figured it out. And this is what's going on. Talking about it doesn't make it bad. Not having a solution and complaining repetitively, bitching, is what makes it unattractive, whether you're a man or a woman, is what I would say.
You sound very masculine, Angela.
About to say that you have a very masculine mindset.
Wait, what makes that masculine? I don't understand what's exclusive.
You've already resolved the problem.
Yeah.
Wait, we're humans. We have left brain, right brain, emotions, and we have logic. Men and women both have it. So what makes that masculine? I don't understand this.
Because you addressed the problem after you had solved it, and were just clearing up the out of character behavior, instead of complaining about the problem just to be heard complaining about the problem.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's like a
still
chick that
ignores
come
I
over
think
your
the
house.
statement says
Hold
more
on, let me
about
answer.
men
Let me
specifically.
answer flow. Let me answer flow. It's just like a chick that come over your house and say, "Hey, you know what? I have my issue. Don't tell you about the issue. Don't bring up the issue. But all they wanted was just a hug." And then you like, you don't give them the hug, and like, then they get mad at you. Then they go away like, "What was going on?"
Okay.
All I wanted was a
let
hug.
me use your example, and I'll also tie in Damien's example. So Damien has a daughter, and he loves his daughter. So when you love somebody, you kind of enable them, you cripple them without realizing it. So this is a social conditioning. When we say that women are basically what y'all are saying, I'm not saying it's derogative, but maybe it is that women don't have logics and they're just complaining just to complain. Maybe the type of women that we engage with. Now, let's say like the girl, like I was taught to have like I grew up around boys. I had to understand to fix shit. I understand like 1, 2, 3, you take something apart, you put it back together. But then I'm a woman, so I have to learn how to be in tune with my femininity also. It's not exclusive to one gender. I think that we can be dominant in it based on how you're raised, but you're still accountable to what you adapt that benefits your lifestyle.
Can I ask a question? So based on what you said that Flo said respond to, as a woman, just for you, so if you already saw the problem, why even make the complaint after the fact? Like that's the part I don't get. If my chick already fixed it, I can see if she's come on like, "How's your day?" and she's telling me how her day. Okay, cool. I'm just seeing how you're doing because we're trying. Your world is your world, my world is what, and we're meshing together. I get that conversation, but if you already had a problem that's fixed, because your words, you said I complained about it after the fact, but it's already solved. So why make the complaint?
So it's the
What
bond.
if it's a
For
recurring
example,
issue?
So it's the
women-
bonding between like no, I'm sorry. Like let me just make this point.
Go
So for
Yeah.
example, if you're saying it's a complaint, that's not a complaint. If the issue is solved as it's complaining, it's an update. It's a relationship. We share things that happen together. So for example, if a pipe busted last week, he drove to 5 different Home Depots. He didn't want to tell me, "Hey, we may not have water for the next couple of days because the pipe is turned off." He doesn't want to tell me that shit because I have my own shit. So he's like, I have to be at this point, be independent and figure this shit out. And I noticed it. So I'm like, all right, I noticed he's tweaking a little bit. Let me just kind of make the house a little more comfortable with XYZ because you have discernment. So then a week later goes by, he finds the pipe, fixes it. We sit down to dinner. He can breathe. I can see the exhale. This is why you bond with people. You don't just hook up with them. Hooking up with people. Y'all know that.
No, go ahead. No, I just want to because
I had my hand raised. I didn't even say a word.
Nobody said anything.
Well, if you put your hand up, just say that I have a question next because I think y'all trying to like cut me off, and you know I feel
No,
bad.
I literally just had my hand raised.
Hey, whoa. We can just.
Is your emotions getting to you? No,
Are they all valid? All these emotions are valid.
Ruthless.
Every time we put Damien and Gray Pill in a room together, this is what happens. This is
I
what
had my
happens.
hand raised. What are you talking about?
Gray Pill starts poking at me in so many ways with his bad beliefs. Like I see what's going on. This is
Technically, it's
bad
been flow
faith.
state. I'm just gonna keep it 100. It's been flow state.
I just want to say a quick point, and I'll be probably quiet to the next subject. It's just a lot of times why when somebody asks, well, why tell us about the situation? A lot of times women want you to connect with the emotion of the event. So you can have a better understanding because that goes into the empathy thing. Like, for example, if you know how a kid tells a story, if a kid falls off and scrapes his knee, the way a man would tell that story would be, dang, I took little Johnny to play, he fell down and scraped his freaking knee. Can you believe that? The way no. I'm telling you, the way women would be like, oh my God, I took him to the appointment. I wanted to have a good time with him. I turned around for 2 seconds. And then all of a sudden I hear crying and I was like, what is happening? So I run over there and I'm all upset. And then I realized he had scraped his knee. And I was like, well, men tell the beginning they tell it from like what the main thing and then work their way backwards. A lot of women want you to connect with the emotion that they felt. So that's why.
Okay. I get what you're saying, but that is how a household is ran. How one chooses to be is it's up to your environment. Like I'm going to counteract and we'll go straight to Riddell. So for example, because I'm going to go back to my dinner statement before I get to finish, because I acknowledged that I recognized he was tweaking that week and he was stressed, I didn't press him. I didn't say, hey, talk to me. What's going on? Some people care so much that they're fucking annoying. I don't want to push his buttons. I was like, yo, like literally just make the house nice and cold, get some hot food, make sure he's cool, put some sports on. He should be fine. Don't piss him off because when you're annoyed, you don't want to piss people off. That's respecting boundaries. And because I verbalized that I recognize all this, like I'm saying to you guys, he said, yo, my standards are low, but it just got raised just a little bit because I know that you can acknowledge these things. Because right there, that's a reprogram right there. Because what you're saying is example historically of how women, and maybe most girls, because if you spoil your daughters not, I'm not using yours, but most people, when you love your daughters, I have nieces, but your daughters become an adult. What they know from their fathers they bring that into their adult life. So when you love your daughters and you love them crippling, but the man that they spend their life, he's not going to love her unconditionally the way we want to love our daughters. So don't you think that you're creating an environment where they only know if a man doesn't fix it, I don't know what to do. I'm only going to be here until something's fixed. That's a social conditioning.
Hopefully it's not that extreme.
All right, I'm gonna say this. Now, it could be a situation. It could be where the woman's looking for an emotional connection based off telling the person this thing. Now, in my opinion, I think it's more so what Angela said, whereas you're just sharing an experience to build the bond. Because I feel like it's pretty common to tell someone something after it's already done. For example, my friend, after he got his AC installed to his new AC that cost like $3,000, it was already done. He told me, we talked about it, then moved on. You know what I'm saying? I told my friend when I crashed into something, I got rid of the car. Everything's done. Just told my guy the experience. We shared the experience. We talked about it a little bit and then moved on. So I think it's pretty common to share experiences. I know that's another level when it comes to relationships because, like I said, it could be a situation where the person wants you to resonate with the emotion that they felt when the situation has happened. But let's just not act like it's just a woman thing that only women do this. Everybody does it.
Have you guys heard of the bonding agent, oxytocin and vasopressin? I've talked about this before. We're all aware of this. Are we aware only of oxytocin, or we're aware of vasopressin also? Everybody
We
here?
don't know what vasopressin is.
Okay, so whenever I talk about like how women and men just bonded, we only know how a woman bonds with a man, which is her oxytocin shit, when she's pleasured and happy, and her brain just releases the toxins. But when are we going to talk about how men are happy? Because they have a chemical also that releases into their brain when small goals are achieved between you and another person. That's how you bond. That's why men in groups are bonded so tight, because you share a goal together, you achieve it, and you're like, wow, I just released some chemical brain action that I really like this brother because he understands me. I'm saying that is how a man and woman bond. So when we hear, why should I have to express what happened last week or yesterday? It's irrelevant. But how are you planning on bonding with her? It's not just sex. A man can have sex with a woman 1,000 times. If he doesn't bond with her beyond just like he's never going to fall in love with her. The bonding is beyond that. So how do you guys bond with women beyond the sex then, if we're not going to talk about vasopressin?
Good point.
Is that a question?
It's a genuine question.
Y'all stoics guys. Y'all
stoics
guys there.
I mean, they create value over and above sex. They've cultivated themselves to add more to what we got going on than just body. They separate themselves from other women, and then they make what the things to do. They make themselves significant to us personally. It's not general stuff they do, like, oh, you may cook for anybody, but there's certain things that somebody can do that shows you that they have a realistic investment in who you are. That's what helps you as a man bond to somebody. That's what help. I'll just say that's what helped me bond to my wife, is that she showed a significant amount of investment over and above anybody else I might have been seeing or what have you. She really put it out there. Like,
the investment is like, for example, let's take your homeboys. Your homeboys, when you guys hang out together, you're part of the red pill stuff. You guys have to bond on a similar topic. Did you not say that earlier? Or did
I said I am absolutely not red pill.
I heard the otherwise. Not gonna lie, I heard the otherwise as well.
I was like, damn, what happened?
I was on defense.